Yeah.
So, what if we do it a similar story, but this time with an Italian theoretical physicist?
Instantly more plausible. Go
Okay.
on.
Ah,
Yeah.
perfect, perfect. This man, if you've heard of him, Ettore Majorana, born 1906 in Sicily. By the 1930s, he was recognized as one of the eminent rising scholars of theoretical physics. His work was especially notable in the work on subatomic particles and antiparticles, so different kinds of interaction of particles. He actually discovered the neutron in the cell or something, or like figured out what it was for. Except he didn't want to take the credit, so it got the Nobel Prize got handed to some other guy instead of him. So he pretty humble guy, but you know. Anyway, to speak to his brilliance, have you guys heard of Enrico Fermi?
Yes.
He was basically the father of the modern nuclear bomb, a very notable physicist. I read some weird fact or a cool fact actually that I think he had mentored I think 10 or 12 different Nobel Prize winning physicists, which is a pretty impressive repertoire. Anyways, he said of Ettore Majorana, our beautiful friend here, there are several categories of scientists in the world. Those of second or third rank do their best, but never get very far. Then there's the first rank, who make important discoveries fundamental to scientific progress. But then there are the geniuses, like Galileo and Newton. Majorana was one of these. So held in very high esteem. High esteem enough, though, that we haven't heard of him today, because he went missing. In March 17, 1938, the man withdrew all his money from his bank and boarded a ship from Palermo to Naples, but was never seen again. Some say it might have been suicide, some say he joined a monastery, some blamed a mob, some blamed the British SS. This was around the war, anyways.
The British SS?
Yes, that's some weird theory that apparently he was
You mean
getting
the SAS or
the Secret
Oh, you
Service.
mean the Secret Services?
Oh yeah, I was just thinking, is this like a German-British hybrid theory that we're having running in the background here?
Yeah. Anyways, I have another Enrico Fermi quote about him, about his disappearance, actually. Enrico said, Ettore was too intelligent. If he decided to disappear, no one will be able to find him, not in this time or another. Exact quote from him.
I feel like was Fermi perhaps known as a shit stirrer because
I don't think so.
he's messing around.
Okay, so also, Han, do you want to describe the two pictures on the screen?
Yes, so on the left we see a very nice old mugshot of an Italian dude, I think. It looks quite Italian.
Yeah.
He's wearing a suit, he's got a nice little haircut.
Hmm.
And on the right we see two men wearing sunglasses, and it's a pretty vague, blurry picture.
Yeah. The guy on the left, he's the same guy as the one in the picture, right?
Is he?
I mean, look at it. What do you think, Matt?
I don't think so. I think the guy on the left looks a little bit too American, a little bit too white, personally. But that's just me.
Allegedly, he is, and this picture on the right was taken in 1955. So there was this one guy who was in Argentina or Venezuela, depending on the story, and he was on a boat and he met the famed physicist Ettore Majorana, who died years ago apparently or disappeared. Except, amazingly, he hadn't aged one day. So this picture, however, is somewhat supported because a bunch of people came together and like analyzed it, so actual scientists, and they proved that there were 10 points of similarity between this picture and the older pictures of Majorana before he disappeared. So they said conclusively, this man in the picture is the same as Majorana. But what was he doing in a different continent, looking not a day older than the day he disappeared 20 years ago?
I like the lines. I'm happy you brought back the lines. So for the viewers out there, there's a few pictures and there's some lines over it. And I mean, these lines are pretty accurate, I gotta say. I gotta hand it to you, Simon. You found some pretty accurate lines this time.
Thank you. Yeah, basically, same guy, they say, but doesn't look older. How do we explain this? How do we explain the theoretical physicist who was gonna win a Nobel Prize one day, working on subatomic particles, which you yourself, Matt, have said hold the key to
Really
time
good point.
travel?
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing, but is this not somewhat of a coincidence, or is there some truth behind it?
Well, I'll just go ahead and say this was the 1930s we hadn't even invented the computer for 10 years, and like that was just one big room for like a few kilobytes. I don't think he would be able to build a Hadron Collider back then, let alone on his own secretly.
Hmm.
My only gripe is that like this is from the 1930s, right?
Yeah.
But there's an insurmountable amount of reasons why someone would take out all their money and run away in the 30s, especially if you're a high-profile theoretical physicist.
Especially if you're in Italy in the 1930s, because Italy wasn't the nicest place to be at that time.
Yeah.
I would disappear.
Now, in terms of age, I think it's really hard based on the photo quality to discern whether he has aged or not. Like, quality is not that great, and like most of his face is like blanked out. Like the contrast is so bad. Like I can't even tell if there's wrinkles or lack thereof.
Right.
So I think it's still a little bit tricky.
You guys are
just wearing the same suit. You know,
too used to modern technology here. You got to appreciate
maybe
what the forefathers did.
Yes, that's a fair point.
Yeah,
I will admit, this one is a bit. The thing that's interesting is that he reappeared and looked very similar. That's the thing that caught me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like it was Italy. There were some rumors, and I will stress rumors for legal purposes, unless this guy comes out of the void and like starts suing me, that he was a sympathizer of like the Mussolini government or the Nazi government, and the British kind of offed him with their SS. And there were also rumors he was involved with the mob. Others said he wanted to live a peaceful life and join a monastery. Others said it was just suicide. So there are different causes,
crazy.
but this is the sexiest cause of all of it.
Yeah. We were talking about Occam's razor and the easiest answer first. I think it's very plausible that he just up and took all his shit and went to South America, because a lot of people did that at the time.
Maybe, but I think the easiest answer is that he managed to isolate some subatomic particles in his lab, saw there's some potential there, dropped the vial accidentally, and got teleported 20 years into the future.
He dropped a vial accidentally as well. That's such a cliche.
It happens, Han. It happens.
If that was true, like, what a comic book way.
Yeah.
To travel through time.
I'm pretty sure he didn't travel through time once. It's his superpower now. He's a man out of time.
He inhaled, the Zeta radiation, and then became a time-traveling Hulk. Yeah. Not Gamma, Zeta. Zeta's the time-traveling one. Very clearly, right? So.
Yeah,
of course, I know what you're talking about.
The Gamma one turns green, so...